Milton Hershey. If you love every chocolate,
Do you want?
then you should celebrate every September 13. On that day, in 1857, the young chocolate maker Milton Hershey was born. There are many events that made this young candy maker famous. Even though Hershey is famous for his chocolate today, he didn't start out that way. Here are some things that made Milton famous. Hershey did not start with chocolate. He actually started with caramels. This is how he got the recipe. In 1876, he started a candy store business. He even made his candy from scratch. People in the store could smell the boiling sugar rising from the basement. He got sick from working too hard, and he was in bed for a month. In 1882, he had to close his shop. He filled a wagon with gear, kettles, and candy minerals from the shop. Hershey turned his back on Philadelphia and followed his father in the gold mine in Colorado. It was a move that would change their lives. He got a job at a sweet candy company that sold a sweet treat called caramel. He had seen caramels before, but not like this. They were soft and creamy and didn't get stale on the shelf. He learned the secret was milk, not wax like other caramels. Milton memorized everything about making the perfect caramel. Then he decided to reopen his shop. In 1883 in New York, Milton had the perfect place in candy store on 6th Avenue, surrounded by skyscrapers. In 1884, Milton's shop did pretty well. People going to nearby theaters would often stop at the shop. The new hotel nearby brought even more people to Milton's shop. Unfortunately, Milton had to close his shop in 1886 because his father Henry asked Milton to make cough drops, which needed very expensive machines. Unfortunately, it costed him his job later. He started going door to door selling batches of caramels at a time. He borrowed money from the bank and started a caramel factory in Lancaster. Then something amazing happened. A man from England was visiting Lancaster. He tried one of Hershey's caramels and loved it so much that he brought a huge order. He sent it across the Atlantic Ocean. Milton was finally a success. He kept experimenting on the chocolate. He sold huge amounts to stores, delis, and restaurants. In 1917, Milton got a chance to help the country in World War I. He provided chocolate in 1942. He created a special chocolate bar called the Ration Bar. It would not melt easily. Soldiers fighting in the war too passed out these bars. Kids also traded them with local people. Hershey's company got several awards. Another trip changed Milton's life. A trip to Chicago for the World's Columbian Explosion. The exposition was held to celebrate the 400 years since Christopher Columbus arrived in the New World. Dozens of buildings were put in the fair called White City. Milton was something that made him stop in his tracks. It was a German candy, a temple made out of chocolate. American candy stores in the 1900s looked very different than such stores today. Candy was a special treat sold almost exclusively in candy stores. Customers didn't touch the merchandise, and it certainly wasn't available in wrappers and bars. It was not displayed in open racks, but held in glass jars behind a counter. Shop clerks put candy in bags and small pieces at a time. The many varieties of candy, including butterscotch, taffy, caramels, molasses candy, taffy, and hard candy made of boiled sugar in dozens of flavors and colors. Even though there was plenty to choose from, Milton's Hershey knew the one thing that was missing: chocolate. He was a successful caramel maker from Pennsylvania, and although very few Americans had ever tried it, had tasted creamy milk chocolate in Europe, he thought it was much better than any other candy, including his own caramels. Chocolate is made from the cacao plant, and it grows in trees in places where it is hot and humid. Milton's job did not work out. Milton's first job did not work out. He was working for a printer. It was difficult and boring. One day he took matters into his own hands. He let his straw hat fall into one of the printing machines. It stopped working, and a few minutes later, so did Milton. Milton Hershey is now known for his Hershey's chocolate and many